Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that I met my wife there.
Yep.
You know, talking about aside from making the decision to go to Washington State, um, you know, going there allowed me to meet my wife Molly, and you know, I couldn't be more blessed in that regard. But I will tell you that the quick story: when I was getting recruited by WSU, Mike Price was my coach that was recruiting me, and he put me together with one of the young quarterbacks. You know, I won't mention his name, but we were driving to the hotel, and Coach Price said he's going to show you a good time, right? And he's looking, he's kind of poking that quarter. He was a freshman. He said, "Yeah, I got you, Coach." And Coach Price says, "Well, tell Jack what time you're going to pick him up." And he looks at me and he goes, "I'll be here at 6:45. Meet me out front." I said, "Okay, I'll be there." And they dropped me off. Went in the hotel at 6:30. I went down to the lobby, and I was waiting out there. 6:45 came and went. 7 o'clock came and went. 7:15, and I'm thinking this guy's not showing up, right? And so what did I do? I walked the campus. Look, I swear to God, I think I must have had a lost look on my face. At least a half a dozen kids, because I was walking around thinking, man, this is a pretty school. Think
Yeah.
uh, um, President the Terrell Mall
Hmm.
by the library, and I was walking. I was like, God, this is a pretty school. And people were stopping. The kids were stopping and said, "Can we help you? Are you looking for something?" I said, "No." And I just walked around, went down by Bryan Tower, and thinking this
Yeah.
is pretty cool. There's just a feel of Washington State. And I went back to. By the way, this is really dates me. The hotel, you know where it was located?
Where's it at?
At at the Cub.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I did
look.
not know that. There was a hotel in the
Oh
Cub?
yeah.
Oh
You
my
come
goodness.
in the front door. There's like a counter there, right by the
Yeah.
elevators. Well, that's where you check in.
Oh my gosh.
And so I came back, got back, and I'm thinking, wow, what a beautiful school. And I don't think I've ever met nicer people.
Yeah.
That was my impression. The next morning, Coach Price picks me up, and he had a smirk on his face. Yeah, I bet he had a good time last night, right? And I said, "Yeah, I had a good time, Coach." He said, "So did you have a good time?" He was asking me that. I said, "Yeah, I had a good time." He says, "Where all did you go?" I said, "Well, I walked the campus." He goes, "Walk the campus?" I said, "Yeah." Blank come pick you up? I said, "No, no one came." And he was like, "Are you kidding me?" He said, I said, "No." But I walked the campus and I said, "Geez, Coach, really nice kids go here." And I'm a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much longer. He took me to the airport and he said, "Geez, I'm really sorry. Chances are you're not coming." I said, "I'm coming." I said, "If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to beat his ass out." And he said, "All right." Coach Price, he knew that I was a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, that's what us Cougs do. We fight.
Yeah.
When we're wrong, we're the last people you'd want to do wrong by, right? So to answer that question that you have, we're different. Washington State University is a different school, and I believe it has to do with those of us who went to Pullman campus and have the ag influence culture permeate us. We learn as students, there we're not in a big city, so we had to create our own fun. We had to be
Hmm.
around each other and being in the ag community. And I gave speeches when I was playing. I gave speeches to virtually every town within a 50-mile radius of Pullman, Washtuckna, Rosalia, you name it, I was there. And I really soaked in the ag culture. Just be honest, hardworking, treat people right. That permeates Washington State University and its students. I really believe that, and that's what makes us different, and that's why we don't take crap from anybody.
Yeah.
We sure as hell shouldn't be taking crap from any other Pac-12 school or anybody that we go up against, because we're special in that way.
Yep. No, that's a great story, and that's a great Coug way for you to find your love for Washington State, and the quarterback blows you off and you just get to take in the beauty of Pullman. I think that's awesome.